Welcome to Now You Know. This is a show we talk about things that people normally don't know about. And we are proud and happy to have Ken Jenkins here today as our guest. And he's the first black county executive, and we're going to ask some questions about things that we don't normally know about. You can also find us on the YouTube channel, Now You Know. Here we go. Meet the team. I'm Cedric Smith.
How you doing? I'm Connor Henry.
Sherry Davis.
So, this is very special. Our show is about things that people don't normally know about. And we have the special guest here. We are so excited, man, to have Kenneth Jenkins here. Oh, wow. Let's give him a thing. Yeah, we are excited. The first black county executive. Yep. We are I don't even know the words. Ken, tell us a little bit about yourself and who you are.
Well, first, thank you so much for allowing me to be part of Let's Talk About It. I've been a Westchester County resident for about 43 years.
Wow. Started when you were a kid. You look young.
No. Well, we moved up from the Bronx.
Okay.
So grew up in the Bronx, moved up to Mount Vernon, and then we've been here, been married, 3 kids, that kind of thing. But as far as I've led the Yonkers branch of the NACP, then went from that to be the chair of the Yonkers Democratic Committee, and followed on Andrea Stewart-Cousins, Majority Leader Andrea Stewart-Cousins, when she went to State Senate. Mm-hmm. I ran for her seat on the County Board of Legislators, and then that was in 2007 to now. Continued to be on the County Board of Legislators, Deputy County Executive under our 9th County Executive, and now our current Congressman George Latimer. And then serve my term on my own, appointed to the County Executive's position on January 6th in 2025, ran this special election, and then again in November. So it's been a whirlwind, and we really love this job.
Oh, wow. So listen, the show's called Now You Know.
Okay.
Right. So now we want to know something that nobody else knows. Give us a secret. Tell us something what's good going on in the county that we should know.
Well, what's going on in the county is that we continue to make sure that to keep everyone balanced. I mean, it's a really challenging county, 43 different municipalities, and it has so many different kinds of ranges, in the world, whether it is urban, suburban, or rural. So we have places in Westchester that people don't really think of Westchester. We have farmland. We have an agriculture district. We have all kinds of things going on. We have $2.3 billion worth of investment that happens in tourism in Westchester. Wow. We have our friends, the Knicks, and the Rangers that pop by, but the Knicks have their practice facility here, and we certainly have the Westchester Knicks. We continue to have so many things that are happening, and there are so many things that people do not know.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Wow. That's what's up. All right. So, again, welcome, Mr. Jenkins. Thank you again for coming on the show.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Yeah, definitely. So when it comes to meeting people, so you talked about outreach and stuff like that, right? Meeting people, places like Greenburgh, what did you learn about what residents want in their community? Well,
the biggest thing I learned is that there's so much similarities through the 45 municipalities in Westchester County, and whether it's the largest town, as you just pointed out, Greenburgh is the largest town, and in Westchester, Yonkers is the largest city and third largest in the state. What I learned is that there's so many people that want to make sure that their community is welcome and opening to them, but they want to be able to take advantage of all the things that the community has to offer. In Greenburgh, there's so many great parks and recreation that happens, and there's a balance with that. But they also want to make sure that they have great schools and continue to be able to have those communities. In Greenburgh, there's so many different smaller communities. Yeah. You have people that move together, certainly up in the college streets. We have some people that are in different kinds of categories to do that. But again, in the 6 villages, right, that we have in Greenburgh, there are so much similarities. And when I got a chance and I get this chance every day to go around to Westchester County, you see that there's so many things that are similar, things that are going on for the kids. Ethnic and local festivals that are happening, and whether it's the Duck Festival that happens every year, or we have the Italian Heritage Festivals that going on in all of the villages. People like village. What's a village? A hamlet. Those things that are going on. So there are so much similarities in that around the county, where people are just trying to make sure to enjoy the opportunities that live, to raise their families, and be able to enjoy just a nice, quiet life. And people don't think it's a nice, quiet life in Westchester, but we have both of those things. You can have excitement if you want to go downtowns, but you also have these small communities and villages, and you see people, everybody knowing everyone, and all the time having those connections. So it is fantastic. And in the town of Greenburgh is one place, but so many others, the 26 towns.
Wow. So what would you say is the biggest challenge in going on in 26? Or
Something that the challenge is making sure that everyone understands that we all have so much similarities that we're able to listen and deal with the challenges as they come up. So some communities may be focused on an issue, things that are happening in that community, whether it's about battery storage or flooding and that kind of thing. And then you figure out, oh, wait a minute, my neighbor has that same kind of issue, my neighbor in town. So what we have been able to do here in Westchester is reach out and talk to all of those communities, make sure that they have a seat at the table, and understand that we can get together. There's going to be things we're going to disagree on, but the majority of those things we can agree on. And when we can't, to be able to have the latitude and grace to be able to accept that somebody has a different point of view and keep moving together and making sure that we move forward.
Mr. Jenkins.
Yes.
Hi. You talked about all the great things going on in Westchester County. Are there any big changes that you would like to see in Westchester?
Well, there's not any really big changes. One of the things that we're going to continue to do is to invest around our housing. I mean, one of the things that happens, especially in this time, because Westchester is so fantastic, there's not a lot of people that leave, right? They want to stay. And we don't have a lot of opportunities for our younger folks to be able to get engaged and be able to stay in a community that they grew up in, right? Because that entry-level kind of housing doesn't really happen as much as we need to. And then we have our seniors that want to retire in place. They want to stay here in Westchester. They like the Four Seasons. They're not trying to go someplace else. So we have to continue to do that balance, because then that opens up opportunities for people to move up and to stay in together. The biggest challenge for us is always trying to deal with the taxes and trying to deal with the affordability here in Westchester. Again, it is a beautiful place. It is not easy to live in as far as the amount of money you need to do it, but we're going to keep working together with all of our municipal partners at the state, the county, and the federal levels, the local municipality level, and then listening to everyone to be able to make that difference. And I think we're continue to be on a good path. Yes.
yeah, that's huge. Affordability.
Yes.
That probably the biggest issue people have. I was glad my daughter went, out the house, but I was sad as well. I want her to stay. I know she had a lease, couldn't afford it.
Oh, wow.
So I was like, oh. So I know affordability. That's a challenge for everybody, and we do have some affordable condos coming to White Plains.
Yes.
And that which we're thankful for. What about the rest of the county?
So one of the things that we've been able to do in partnership at the state level is to be able to go to our state partners, Governor Hochul, and all of our state legislators and say things like, can we try something? So we like to say, as you pointed out, your daughter, that we would say, we're the good children in the state of New York. And that gives us an opportunity to say, let's try some things. So you pointed out the units of affordable housing ownership that we have in White Plains, but there's another twist to that a lot of people don't see, which is a local preference, right? So 50% of those units have a local preference for those folks that either lived in public housing or they're public sector employees, not just the county employees, local employees, public employees. That's an opportunity that people don't see, because that allows, when we go to different municipalities, because everyone looks for that. So we have some things going on in different municipalities, including New Rochelle, the city of Mount Vernon, some things that are happening up in the village of Mamaroneck, that we all had opportunities to have some local preferences. And what having those local preferences allows the local municipal officials to talk to their residents and say, hey, this is an opportunity for your daughter, for you to retire here in place, or to make sure that the people that either lived and grew up in the community can stay there, work in the community, because no one just pops into a community they don't know anything about, and again, to take advantage of that. So we have been working with the governor and being able to create those opportunities in different places, affordable housing in Harrison that's transit-oriented design that says, all right, something, we can have those folks be 20 minutes away from New York City, and we're going to continue to do those things. So there's a lot of exciting things going on with that. But one of the work that I'm trying to do this year is to deal with the people that have helped pay for those services, right? So we do a lot of things for people that need the services, and our folks in Westchester County are very, very generous in what they would like to do and help to support people. But we got to make sure to take care of those families that are doing things for us. So we're looking forward to working with some development partners, some municipalities, and creating some of those smaller units that people can actually purchase when they're downsizing. So they take their 5,000 square foot home, they downsize, their kids are gone, right? You know, they graduated and they're on their own already and they're doing their thing. They're going to want to stay in Westchester, but they don't want to go necessarily into a condo and a co-op kind of scenario. They want to be able to still be in a house and be smaller. So we work with those local municipalities instead of them building a storage facility, right? That they can build some housing that makes sense for the folks that want to do it. So we're excited about that too.
This is off topic. I'm not sure if this is something you might, of course, you're probably aware of it. But one of the number one questions I always get is, what's happening with the Galleria?
Well, you know, something I can tell you something that what's going on with it. I mean, the RXR and Capelli folks are on that particular project. What's happening with the Galleria is that the city of White Plains is now going through the process of selling the lot, the parking structure, right? They came up with a value for that. Now they're negotiating through that. The last set of proposals was to build, I think, 6 towers, right? And making 2 of those affordable to be able to do 500.
Affordable.
Well, Cedric, you made an excellent point. That is, like, Westchester has so much income range differences. Right. So what's affordable? What does that mean? It means different things to different people. But in this case, it is the threshold of affordability, 80 to 120% of the area median income to be able to hit those. So 2 of those towers, the state is requiring for that to happen. 500 units of housing. Doing a new central park kind of thing. So I mean, there's a lot of vision in that. And yes, the county doesn't have anything directly to do with that, but certainly White Plains being the county seat and being able to develop some new office space. You know, we haven't had new Class A top level office space here in Westchester County in years, and we absolutely need that because of the economic development opportunities that we have here in Westchester, where we have our Fortune 100 companies. We have so many people on what was called the Platinum Mile on 287. Be able to do that. People want to stay here. Regeneron, Mastercard, Danone, all of those folks that we have. You know, the Heineken USA is here. Here in White Plains, we have a lot of things to offer, but the Galleria is going to be, again, that pinnacle, again, going backwards from when it was urban renewal time, when you had malls go up and buildings go up and you lost the connection between communities. So building those parks where there's open space and people can do that was part of the vision. So we'll see how that continues to move on. I think that they're going to get to a place in the next year, in 2026, where that's getting kind of locked down to see what's going to move forward. They'll have the agreements between the master agreements formulated, but it's a fantastic opportunity. And every time I look out my window, so I get a chance on the 9th floor on 148 Martine Avenue to be able to look down and around and see all the development here in White Plains, making sure that we're able to get people to not just live, work, and play here, but to be able to have everyone to be able to thrive and make sure that we're building more community. So again, those Central Park ideas where you have retail and then live, work, and play on the same housing place, it's fantastic.
Yes.
So, Mr. Jenkins, so you had several major roles in county government. How did those experiences prepare you to being the county executive you are today?
Well, thank you. That's a great question because, someone said you don't have to, if you stay prepared, you don't have to get prepared.
Yes,
right?
facts.
I mean, one of the opportunities I've had was one serving on the County Board of Legislators when I pointed out in introduction. I followed the great Andrea Stewart Cousins, who is now our Senate Majority Leader for the New York State Senate, being able to follow her on the County Board of Legislators, being able to take the time and effort and putting in the work at a local level. Part of the challenges right now is, a lot of people want to just start at the top, right? They want to be at the corner office and they don't remember the work that had to be done. Whether I was a volunteer in the Yonkers NACP, and then be able to be the chair of the Yonkers Democratic Committee. I was also the secretary of the Westchester County Democratic Committee. I got a chance to talk to all of those folks and put in the work, talking to people, getting signatures on petitions and that kind of thing, and being engaged in the local process, local community. You have to tell people enough times, be involved in your local community and be selfish about that, whether it's on your school board, whether it's your library board. It doesn't matter that you're making your voice heard and you're making yourself seen. So for me, those roles, whether it was on the Board of Legislators and being the person that was not up front, the person that's doing the work, that was so helpful for me to be able to go to every community and be able to talk to folks, because a lot of times people feel like you're out of reach.
Right, I was just about to say that.
They think you're out of reach. They're like, oh my gosh, I see you on TV and that kind of thing. And yes, I had some fun times on News 12 when I was the unpaid political analyst.
Right.
But that got a chance.
I don't want that job anymore. I wanted it, but not now.
But a lot of times that was an opportunity because people got a chance to hear your thoughts. But then showing up, right? You know, I think that a lot of times people think that you could just pop in and pop out, and that doesn't work. And for me, all of those roles led to the particular position where we are right now, where we were able to have so much success for Westchester County when we went around to every Westchester County resident and put our record on the table and asked for their support. I mean, in Westchester, I won I only lost one municipality in the county.
Wow.
Right. So everyone thinks about that and says, "Oh, wait, it's like that's not a problem." Like, wait a second, let me say that again to you. It's like, wait, one municipality, and the one municipality that we lost by like 100 votes. So we're going to continue to work with everybody and show up and be able to respond to people when they have issues. And whether those issues are urban issues and about affordable housing and the services that we provide, whether it's about social services, mental health services that we the work that we do. Or is it about trying to make sure we are having our nationally accredited and award-winning park system do all those things for those folks that say, hey, I love the green space in Westchester, I love being here, and I love that beauty, and I don't mind paying the investment that we have to pay to keep it that way, and that's called taxes, and that's what we are going to continue to do. So all of those roles help prepare me to be in this place. But the first lesson was always at home with mom and dad that said, hey, you know what, show up. My grandmother, my maternal grandmother, was the secretary to the warden in Rikers Island, right? So I learned about public service like that. And my maternal grandmother would be social services in New York City. So she was a manager in that. So I understand.
Dad was a cop, right?
And my dad was a cop, and my mom was a nurse. So I mean, at the end of the day, all of those balances continue to say, all right, how do we work through this together? The last thing that helped me out on this, Conrad, was that at the end of the day, I knew that there were people watching out for me that I did not know, right? You know, you learn that there's a big community, and every community, and whether that's all of the community that looks and supports you, or those folks that are just watching out for you, I know that there was a lot of people that were looking out and trying to help course correct, right? You know, because none of us are perfect, right? Help us course correct and be able to provide input and understanding. And, you know, sometimes you don't think about those things until later on, and you hear those lessons in your head. You know, I know for me, I hear my mom and dad in my head, and I was like, man, I don't remember them telling me that, but I know that's where that's coming from. So again, all of those things together, you know, help prepare things. Andy Spano, who's the 7th county executive, said to him, you know, at a gathering one time, and certainly George Latimer said the same thing. They're like, there's no one more prepared for this job than me. You know, the work that you put in 7 years as deputy county executive, 10 years on the county board of legislators, all the work in the political vineyards to be able to do that. A lot of people look and say, oh yeah, you're lucky, look at this, it just happened now. No. And any successes, in any field, all of you understand that you put in that work and it makes a difference.
True.
Wow. I gotta make sure I record this. Like, I gotta play it back for the kids, my kids.
You know, the funny thing with that is that you can't. Someone else has to tell that to your children.
Exactly. You're right.
Someone else has to say that.
Right.
And again, for all of us that are fortunate enough to have the networking and connections to have people to be able to turn around and say things to folks. And I know for me, the most satisfying thing for me is when people come up to me and say, well, Mr. Jenkins, you helped me out on this thing. And I look at them and they're like, oh, well, no, you didn't know who I was. You just responded. You were able to point me in the right direction. You were able to do some things. And you see that and you're like, all right, you could smile about that. And like, can you tell that to my kids? We could keep working through that.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Yes.
So when they talking about kids, I was always wondering, like, I knew, like, in White Plains, I've been in White Plains for years, decades. And when they first put City Center up, there was a lot of kids outside and everything. And some people liked it, some people didn't like it. And my kids was that age where they would be outside, try to be outside, whatever. Now most of the kids are in the house playing their games or whatever like that. But it's not, if they do go outside, there's not much for them to do. I mean, we got the movie theater, and then Applebee's left, and then so forth. But and the movie theater just came, and New Rochelle, I guess it was the same problem with New York City.
Yeah, New York City. Well, something. What happens for us, what we continue to do is work with the various municipalities and their youth bureaus to try to do that. And we go through cycles, right? Different things happen at different times. Yes, when we were probably growing up, that you'd be out in the street and doing things, and it was fine. Everyone, neighbors watching the kids, and everybody was watching you doing your things. And then you got to a place where it's like, okay, we need you to be inside. And now with the age of social media, where there's a lot of people that stay inside, I can't tell you about whether it's the Xbox or the new box or whatever thing that my son has now that is like it's like that they have, and they continue to do. Some of the things that have happened now, especially in schools, now that you have cell phones that can't be utilized during the day, that now you have an opportunity to get back to the place where people are interacting with each other, actually talking to each other, and not worrying about necessarily the influencers and being leveled up as far as social media is concerned. To be able to do those things. I think that's the balance. And our Youth Bureau Director, Ernest McFadden, works with, whether it's the City of White Plains with Frank Williams and other folks around the county, to be able to try to figure out different opportunities. And the more green space that we do, like we talked about with the development, that gives another opportunity for people to be outside. I know for us, again, I joked about it when we created the nationally accredited and award-winning park system, when we coined that phrase. The fact is that our park system, we have 51 different parks in Westchester County, 18,000 acres of things that go on. And whether you want to bike, on the Bronx River Parkway, on Sundays, on Bicycle Sundays, that gets help supported by the Parks Foundation, or whether you want to just walk up and down the South County Trail or the North County Trail, or what is technically the County Executive Andy O'Rourke Trailway that goes, the old Putnam Railway that goes from Yonkers right up to the Putnam County line. Be able to part of the Empire Trail where you can go thousands of miles around the state of New York. To be able to do that, that's one kind of thing. And, all those parks, trails, things, I mean, we do so many things now, and we continue to do that. And when your first question about the municipalities and the local municipalities and the things that they're doing, they're trying to do that too, and we're all trying to make them interconnect. Just today, on January 8th, we had an announcement from the governor from the state of New York about some projects that are happening to be able to interconnect people better. The Old Croat Aqueduct, people are like, well, what's that? Right? Yeah, well, that's the water that came down, and that's mostly where our water comes from. But that is hundreds of years old, that be able to do that. But it's a trailway too. Yeah. And then how do we connect those things together? In White Plains, you have Arts Westchester and all those kind of things. So there's a lot of things that we're going to continue.
Now you know.
Right? That's right. And now you know. If you didn't know, now you know. Right? So you can be able to connect to all of those things that are happening through the county. Again, it's just so many things, as you said, people, go out and play. It's like, and people were worried about that. You don't need to worry about that as much. We still worry, and we should, right? But there's a lot of activities going on to be able to have our young people engaged and involved, and our not so young people engaged and involved in their senior centers and our veteran centers, and making sure that everyone feels that they're connected. So,
great.
Yes.
So there's so much going on in the federal government, a lot of chaos going on. How do you keep Westchester focused and to focus on real results for our county?
Well, one of the things that we continue to do is that there's chaos and confusion in Washington, and we try to protect our little bubble here in Westchester to make sure that that doesn't happen. That means we talk to everyone, and that doesn't mean whether they're all on one political party or not. We're in government. We're trying to make a difference every day. The thing that I try to do is to make sure that we're responding and not reacting. So when something happens, like we had an announcement, over the weekend on Truth Social that said we were going to lose funding for some of our critical programs for temporary aid for needy families, TANF, and the supplemental nutrition program, SNAP, and all those things that over the weekend they said, well, these 5-6 Democratic states are going to lose that funding. And we had that notice yesterday. Some people are freaking out, and it's like, wait. Right. Let's relax. Let's find out what to do. Let's work through this together. We'll work with our Attorney General in those cases, Tish James, who's done a magnificent job over 30 different lawsuits and been able to fight through that. So we're not just like going from one place and going, oh my gosh, you can go crazy with that. I mean, we really work hard on trying to be able to be smooth and be able to respond and not react. And by doing that, if we're calm, then the folks are going to be calm, right?
We'll get through it.
And we are going to get through it. And when we think through things and how many challenges that people had to focus on to get to where we are today, right? We understand, listen, wait a minute. That sounds rough, but you know what? People died on things. I mean, one of the things that I got a chance to do is I got a chance to lead a trip over to Israel over the last couple of months, right, as the county executive. And the people were trying to survive, right? Muslim and Jewish people trying to survive in the same communities and trying to do that. And they're fighting every day. And they're like, hey, wait a second. I woke up today. There was a bomb that went off. A missile alert went off. There's a siren and a certain thing. And it hit a different building. And the woman said to us, I went to bed. The siren was going off. And, I woke up in the morning and said, I didn't die today. That puts you in framework, and it puts a perspective on things that says, that sounds serious, right? The thing that you're talking about right now, that's a first world problem. It's not that serious, right? So we'll get through it, and we'll be able to work through this together and make sure that we're pulling together. And if we do that, we'll be okay.
On the other end, better.
That's right.
We'll come out on the other end. So we know we're about to wrap this up. I just want to give you an opportunity to say anything. We appreciate so much that we know you're a busy person, that you come out into our mini little show.
Oh, stop. Well, first, I appreciate to be able to come out and now right? There's a lot of things. So I'll tell you one last thing that a lot of people didn't know. When the hip hop days were going on, there's an old picture of me and my little crew from back in the days, and we're talking back in the days, to be like an OG. Right? And they're like, wait, you were a DJ, right? It's like, oh, yes, back in the day.
You were a DJ.
No, there wasn't MCing days coming from me, although somebody was like, wait, you sound like you could talk through it. But the truth is that, there's a lot of things that people don't understand, and they don't understand where you came from. So they take a look at you today and they make an assumption. I tell you people all the time, make sure that you take the time to talk to folks, listen to them, and then be able to say, all right, let's accept that and keep moving forward. So I really appreciate the opportunity to be out here with you and be able to talk and hear new things, so now that people know.
That's right.
And make sure they sign up for our parks website. Go on westchestergov.com. That's www.westchestergov.com, and be able to take a look at all those things that are happening in Westchester. There's so much things that we're involved in our $2.5 billion budget with 4,500 employees.
So we're going to have, at the end of the show, we're going to have all that information on how you can get involved, all the phone numbers and everything that you need to do for your local people. So we'll have all that at the end of the show, and we are so thankful to have Ken here. And now we got to get Miss Stewart here because we got contact.
All good.
We got contact. So thanks a lot. We appreciate you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
So today we talked to Ken Jenkins. We found out a lot of good stuff, and we were happy that he came along and he talked about what's going on White Plains with affordable housing. I was impressed with that, and the parks, all the parks, 51 parks. Wow,
that's a lot. And again, just having him in our studio today was pretty amazing, because you see him on News 12 all the time, and just actually you see him on TV, but actually feel him and see him here, it's pretty good. He's really down to earth, really, really like cool person, and no wonder he's in the position he's in today. So, pretty good.
Now you know. Get to it.